Welcome to the GCN Show.
This week we're asking, is there any point to training? With most of us not aiming to win the Tour de France, shouldn't we just take the pain of intervals away and have fun?
Well, you can speak for yourself, Si. I mean, Tour de France glory is very much in the back of my mind still, personally. I've always got a new world record, some hot tech that is both inexpensive and sustainable, plus our energy gels for life and not just for racing. This week in the world of cycling, we learnt that Trek Segafredo were on an absolute roll at the weekend, winning both Milano-Sanremo with Jasper Stuyven on Saturday and then the Trofeo Alfredo Binda with Elisa Longo Borghini on Sunday.
Do you want to make your joke again, Dan?
Oh, I do, yes. Star Trek, Liv Longo and Jasper.
There we go.
Yeah, wasn't my joke actually, Si. I need to give kudos to the Gus over on Twitter for the help on that particular one.
There we go, Dan. Well done. Well done to the Gus as well. Now, we also learned this week that the 100-mile world record has just been broken again.
It has. Step forward Jonathan Parker, who rode from the northernmost part of Qatar to the south in just 2 hours, 49 minutes and 58 seconds. So that is an average speed of 57 kilometres per hour or 35.3 miles per hour.
I mean, technically, Dan, it was actually 56.8 kilometres per hour, just so you don't have to make an apology on next week's show for,
Thanks for that, mate.
grave inaccuracy.
And finally this week, we learned that you don't need to do that much training to get a lot better on the bike.
That's right. So our very own Connor Dunn has been riding just 4 hours per week, most of it on Zwift, structured training, for the last 7 weeks. And he's just gained 50 watts at his threshold.
He did start at around 380 watts to begin with, didn't he? So that was, quick calculation, 13% increase, I think, as opposed to if I'd gained 50 watts, which would have almost doubled my FTP, probably.
Yeah, I mean, in all seriousness now, that result, along with your one, when you did your 10 weeks of training with the Sufferfest a couple of years ago, it's got us wondering just how little can you do and still get fitter. You went from 237 at thresholds to what, 286?
Roughly, yeah.
So that's like a 50 watt gain, which, you know, admittedly it was from a much, much lower level than Connor.
Yeah, thank you very much. It is a bigger percentage gain, though, than Connor got, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but that's
true.
proof, I think, that you can get fitter with just 4 hours a week of training.
Yeah, which is all well and good. But for those of us who don't or who no longer compete, is there any point in training? Or would actually we just better off focusing solely on riding for the sheer enjoyment of it?
It's a good point. I mean, personally, I quite like going through the process of training, ticking things off as I go and reaping the rewards, / the benefits of that training.
But what is the benefit? I mean, you're fitter, yes, but for what? I mean, you don't have any events, so you've got no goals coming up. You don't need to go further or faster. So why not just forgo the pain of intervals and, I don't know, just enjoy the scenery?
Well, that is another very good point, Si. And you're probably right. Doing run intervals, actually, recently, has left me with an injured ankle, and I'm currently, as you've seen, hobbling around a block, a bit of an old man at the moment.
You are a little bit, yeah. But I suppose, I mean, you've got to ask him, why are you doing it to yourself?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. But by the same token, whilst you don't follow a prescribed training plan yourself, I know that when you do go out on your bike, you absolutely smash it. And that's because of your self-confessed fear of losing fitness. So why don't you just forget about your fitness and head out and ride just for the sheer enjoyment of it?
Well, that is another good point, actually. But I mean, smashing myself is, I think, what I enjoy. The trouble with training specifically is that you're always on that tightrope, aren't you? About whether you're feeling good and getting better or you're feeling bad and getting worse. It's very easy to get into a negative spiral with training, I think.
Yeah, that is true. Training can suck the fun out of riding, there's no doubt about that.
Yep.
If you're not training, it's hard to have a bad bike ride. Maybe if you get 12 punctures and have to walk 23 miles home, though, that might be a bad bike ride.
Get struck by lightning, that would suck.
Yeah. Generally, though, a bike ride is a bike ride, isn't it? When training, though, you can have bad bike rides. You feel tired, you're struggling to hit your numbers, you can only do 3 out of the 4 intervals that were planned on that day. And suddenly, there's a different metric for success other than getting out of the door.
Yeah, so, you know what, right? I had an epiphany. When I retired from racing, I suddenly started riding loads of roads that I'd not ever really trained on. And it was because I could suddenly just appreciate that I was actually really quite fit. And it felt amazing. After 10 years of being a pro, it took retirement to finally make me feel good on a bike.
That's also probably because you weren't getting beaten every single week.
Well, that is true as well. Yeah, there was my morale was generally better. Yeah.
Well, maybe we're looking at this all wrong, Si. The thing is, when you ride, you're going to be putting effort in. If you're going to put the effort in, why not make it count? Make the hard work more beneficial for you by investing it into key areas.
Okay, so you might as well train, is what you're saying. And then the other riding that you do, perhaps, I don't know, going out with a group ride or a club run, becomes more enjoyable as a result.
Exactly that. And training doesn't have to be rigid intervals, does it? You could just plan a route to take in 5 short climbs that you will power up as fast as you possibly can. And then for the rest of it, just cruise around and enjoy it.
Yeah, or if you go out for 20 miles, you could do 2 blocks of 5 miles as fast as you possibly can.
Or join a fast group ride. They're always good fun, aren't they? And you can just hang on to it for as long as you possibly can.
That is true. But let's be clear, though, we are not just dissing intervals, are we? Because, well, I think we both have enjoyed them at times. Intervals can be great. They can make you feel really good. And plus, sometimes it's just fun to switch off your brain, follow a plan and smash it.
Yes, exactly that. Training can give you a purpose, I think, can't it? Especially when you've got a plan to follow. Doing things just to make you happy can be a bit hollow in some ways, and the harder you look for happiness, the harder it can be to find it. All you actually need, though, is to have a purpose, I think, and the same is true for cycling. Going for a ride just to enjoy it might not actually always be all that satisfying, so perhaps it's better to have a purpose.
That's remarkably deep, Dan.
Thanks, mate.
There we go. Certainly with short rides, anyway, I totally agree with you. Try going for an hour's bike ride just to enjoy it. Not necessarily the easiest thing. Maybe you can't get to the nice roads or whatever. Do an hour's structured training, whatever, and boom, you'll be happy as Larry, won't you? As long as you hit your numbers.
I think for me, as I said before, training plans are the secret to happiness in many respects. For others, it might make you miserable, I know that. But I do suspect that the answer probably lies somewhere between the two extremes.
Yeah, training can definitely make bike riding more fun. The question is whether you want a box-ticking exercise by doing intervals or whether you want to hide your training within normal bike rides.
It's a very interesting subject, isn't it? Understanding what makes bike riders tick. And as ever, we would like to know your thoughts on this. You can get involved in the comment section below. Are you a hardcore trainer or have you ditched numbers many years ago and not even ever used them? Let us know.
Or are you a sneaky trainer? There's plenty of you out there as well.
Next up, your weekly GCN inspiration. If you're new to the show, this is where we pick our 3 favourite photos uploaded to the GCN app, each of which win themselves a prize. It can be a video as well, don't forget. We don't get many videos through still, do we?
We don't, no.
In fact, there's 3 photos this week, and we'll get on with 3rd place, which will get a GCN Elite water bottle. Enjoying the peace and quiet of an early morning 6:30 a.m. bike ride with low misty cloud cover setting in the Welsh Valley all around me as I crest over the top of, oh my goodness.
Sengennydd?
Well done. It's Nicaphilly somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, the mist cleared at the summit and gave me a clear view across the top of the clouds. Paused to take in the view, and that came in from Matthew Boddy.
That is a belter of a photo, isn't it? So yeah.
I've said it before, there's nothing like getting out of the mist or the clouds, is there?
Nope. That's fantastic. For those of you wondering, that's Wales, by the way, Caerphilly. So there we go. Actually, I needn't have clarified when he said Welsh valleys all around me. It was fairly obvious, wasn't it? Anyway, there we go. I do like that, very much so. Right, 2nd place this week, winning an endurance book and a Spring Cobbled Classic t-shirt, which is brand new. So make sure you get involved with that, with the Cobbled Classics coming up. Another great day on the bike with all my lads in Cork, Ireland, enjoying the best of life. There we go. The one thing that worried me about this, Dan, is I think he's got lost. There's no road.
No, well, there is one in the distance there.
I wouldn't even ride a mountain bike through those tussocks.
I think we've done worse roads than that in the Ross before, to be fair.
That is true, actually. It does take me back, that.
Well done to you. And then moving on to this week's top prize winner, who will get a Spring Cobbled Classic t-shirt, a cool red sweatshirt and an Elite bottle. 1 year ago, from when this was taken, was the start of COVID lockdown in the USA. I was 270 pounds and I had a choice to make. Get healthy and give my body a chance to fight such a disease, or stay the course and succumb to the lockdowns and fall further out of good health. On this day 1 year later, I'm down to 215 pounds and I've just finished up a 40-mile solo ride at a good for me pace of 21.8 miles per hour. That's good for everybody, or anybody. Cycling continues to change my life and health for the better. So very well done to you, Rich Stafford. That is absolutely brilliant to hear.
That is fantastic, isn't it? Superb. Well, yeah, well done. Well done. And of course, we want your photos for next week still as well. We had a comment under last week's show about just how do you upload it. So first of all, you need to download the GCN app, and then once you're there, it's very clear, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's reasonably intuitive, even for us.
Yeah. No, it is. It's super clear. So just get the GCN app and go from there. And, well, I don't think you'll regret downloading it.
It's now time for cycling shorts.
Cycling shorts now, and we're going to start with news of new cycling shorts. Yay! The last team kit of the year has just been revealed, and it's the much anticipated Legion of LA.
To be fair, Si, their shorts are not really anything to write home about, just very classy black with white logos.
True.
But the jersey.
Oh, the jersey.
Wow, I like that. That's very, very cool, isn't it?
Yeah, or hot. I love it.
Very good stuff.
It was inspired by
that your own
volcano.
joke? Didn't get that from Twitter, did you?
No, I did. I made that up, yeah.
Anyway, moving on from cutting-edge LA design to parochial British now. The iconic red phone box that's been a staple of rural English life since the 1930s is obviously not really particularly needed now, is it?
It's not. What good is a phone that you can't Instagram from?
Or access the GCN app from.
Exactly.
Anyway, many are now being pressed into service as other things. Micro-libraries, or thanks to one family in Yorkshire, a bike repair station.
How cool is this? I love it. Fantastic. Right, moving on. L'Equipe recently published its annual list of the world's highest earning pro cyclists. Chris Froome, back at the top spot with his deal with Israel Startup Nation, worth a cool €5.5 million per year, they reckon.
That seems like quite an expensive gamble, doesn't it, from the Israel Startup Nation, given Chris is still on the road to recovery after that horrific crash. Tadej Pogacar is at $5 million and on the same salary, apparently, as Peter Sagan.
Peter who?
Oh, not that again.
No, we can't make that joke again this week, mate, because having basically not raced all season, he, of course, rocked 4th place at Milan-San Remo. Sagan ain't done yet.
Never write Peter Sagan off.
Nope.
Interestingly, though, aside from Pogacar, cycling's hottest prospects all come further down the list. Alaphilippe, 2.3 million. Wout van Aert, 2.2. Mathieu van der Poel and Roglic, both on €2 million per year.
That's mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad. But I guess that is the way of things, though, isn't it? I mean, it takes a while for your salary to catch up with your value, and then as Froome is finding out, it kind of works both ways as well.
Do you think our salary has caught up with our value yet, Si?
I worry that we might be in Froome's position. Right.
Now, to put this list into some kind of context, you will notice that there were no female cyclists in that top 10 because they are not paid that much money. And there's not even a list, actually, of female earnings as pro cyclists.
No, but hopefully, I mean, things are changing, aren't there? Brands like SRAM, Specialized Live, and in particular Trek, who are really leading the way, they're all investing heavily into women's cycling, aren't they?
They are, which is great to see. Also worth noting that some have said the article in L'Equipe is rubbish, but we're not going to let that stand in the way of a very good story, are we?
No.
Now, Si and Hank mentioned on last week's show about the guilty verdict in the trial of British cycling and Team Sky's former doctor, Dr. Richard Freeman. He has duly been stripped of his medical licence now, so he will no longer be able to practice as a doctor.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the right call, doesn't it? Admittedly, we only heard evidence or read about it, but it does seem like the right call. But I just can't help but think of the disparity between his lifetime ban from practicing medicine, so his work, and what a pro cyclist who would actually be found guilty of doping would get. What is it, 4 years now?
Yeah.
But yet people really don't like the idea of a lifetime ban for a cyclist.
No, I also hope somebody's looking after Dr. Freeman, to be perfectly honest. At the end of the day, he's not killed anybody. What he did was wrong, but his psychological state doesn't seem particularly stable, does it? And I think we need to look out for people that are in the public eye like he is at the moment, because it can't be nice for him either.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to move on now to a bit of tech news. Italia have just announced that they are launching a new 100% sustainable saddle, as it's made without glue and can be completely recycled.
How cool is that? It's called the Model X Green Superflow. Alex has all the details in an unboxing video over on GCN Tech now, where of course we'll also have saddles up for grabs in a giveaway. But even if you don't win one, second only to its green credentials in the Good News Stakes is the price, because it's less than €50.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I paid more than that for a Italia flight back in the day, 20 plus years ago.
30 years ago.
We'll move on, yeah, it probably was. We'll move on again now to a bit of science. Is your gut an athletic organ? So asked Asker Jorkendrup in a paper for Sports Medicine. He thinks that the gut can be trained to improve its function, both in terms of how it deals with being full and how quickly you can absorb nutrients from it.
Great news for cyclists. As we know, if you want to ride hard for long distances, you've basically got to smash as much food in as you possibly can, but it's not easy. However, it could be worth practicing because Jorkendrup recommends practicing race-simulated nutrition once a week in the 5 to 10 weeks leading up to an event.
Energy cells are life, therefore, and not just for racing.
Indeed, that's right. Or something like that, perhaps. Anyway, right, sticking with nutrition, we have got some competition winners to announce.
We have 10 winners, to be precise, who will each receive a 6-month subscription to the ERW Active Hydrate products. They are Yunmai, Nicola Calabro, Braulio Laguna, Eric Forsberg, Mehmet Nikati Akar, Jamie Cargill, Michael Webber, Scott Barrett, Mathieu Bourcois, and Kevin Morin.
The applause was for you, Dan, and then I stopped because I was absolutely spellbound. How did you do that? Anyway, well done to all of you competition winners. Moving on, let's quickly tell you what is coming up on GCN Plus as well right now. We have got 2 cracking films for you this week. BMX first in Turning Dirt to Gold. So Hank and Blake try 2 Olympic disciplines and they look back at the highs and lows of the sport as well as trying for themselves, see just what it takes to make it at the highest level.
Great stuff. And then we have our next hotly anticipated Legends film. None other than the Lion of Flanders, Mr. Johan Museo.
Should we see a little clip?
Yeah.
Along with his many triumphs, Johan has had his fair share of drama.
One second and it's over. And almost they have amputated the leg. They say immediately to me, it will be very difficult to come back.
After retirement, Johan settled back in the town where he was born and raised.
Here I can think about life, future, the things around.
This is red. It's not the best one you give to me.
I like biking. I like biking with people that love biking. I profit now from every moment in my life.
I'm happy that I can say by myself I was one of the best classic riders in the 90s and the 80s. And that's it.
Museo proves he is king of the classics.
Hack /Bodge of the week. Lots to get through this week, so we'll get straight on with the first one from Giacomelotto. Cycling Reflections, old record Ambrosio finding a second life.
Nice. I like it. I like the retroness.
I mean, it's a good reflection as well with the bikes hanging up, isn't it?
Very good reflection. Yeah, I think that's cool. Yeah, I'm feeling that.
Me too. It's a hack from me.
Hack from me.
And it's a hack from 86% of you.
Whoa, nice. Right then, we got this one from R. Bovenkamp. 3D printed through axle adapters. Hack.
I'm surprised you didn't
3D
say
printing.
hack after the first word on there.
Well, good point. Planned a new wheel build, but forgot that my truing stand doesn't have through axle adapters. So I designed and printed a set of adapters for my cheap truing stand. That's brilliant.
They look good, don't they?
They look really good.
That's another hack from me. We're starting off on a very positive note here.
Yeah, I mean, just genius. Amazing, 3D printed.
Have a better look yourself at the end of the show, Simon.
Sorry, yeah, no, we'll move on now.
88% of people said that was a hack. Meanwhile, this one, well, I couldn't find a username for whoever submitted this, so apologies to you, but it's inner tubes organised. Finally, I got organised with my fixed inner tubes. Now it is easy for me to decide which ones I take out for a ride with me. That's a lot of bikes.
Well, you know what? Only this morning was I staring at my box of inner tubes, thinking like, so normally if I get a puncture, like I tie a knot in it so that I know it's done, and then I'd put it to one side, so I'm going to fix it at some point. But I'm not sure I've stuck rigidly to my thing, so I've stuck 2 inner tubes in my bike and just
hope for the best.
It, basically. Yeah. So this is very timely. If you want to come around and sort my inner tubes out, that'd be great. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, there's an invite you can't refuse, eh?
Yeah. It's not a euphemism, by the way. It's generally, yeah.
What are you saying, hack or bodge?
Hack, 100%.
Yeah, I'll go for that.
Why would it be a bodge?
Well, 24% of people did deem that a bodge.
I know.
But there you go.
Oh, well.
Moving on, Andy L. The Trek Sloshed. That's not an anagram of Madonna, is it? Or Imonda. This is what happens when you're suffering from lockdown boredom and own an old cracked carbon frame, introducing the all-new Trek Sloshed. In reality, it's just a bit of MDF held in place with leather straps and further straps stopping the wine bottles from being pushed too far through the holes. I think it adds a little je ne sais quoi to my living room, though.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's very cool. I mean, there's part of me that, you know, once you've broken a frame, you kind of don't want it as a reminder that, you know, all that beautiful carbon has gone to waste. But I think that's very cool, actually. Yeah.
Well, this serves as a reminder not just of a cracked frame, but the fact that you've still got some wine stock in your house. So,
true that. You need a massive bike frame, wouldn't you, for it to be worthwhile?
I'll have one of Connor's.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a hack from me, for sure.
And me. And from 80% of you.
Wow, not bad. Right, this next one, this one's a bit of a puzzle, isn't it? From Bridge Rajagawa. I'm sorry, that's clearly not your name. But anyway, there we go. Octopus Cycle. Found this basic Indian bike with a custom handlebar accommodating 9 handlebar positions.
Blooming heck.
Yeah, there is a lot going on there, aren't there?
It's almost like someone's watched previous GCN shows of Hacks and Bodges and tried to do a bit of one-upmanship on the previous number of bar ends that we've seen placed on a single bike. But that takes the biscuit, basically, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it?
Nobody can need that. I mean, I'm all for bar ends. Nobody can need that many different bar positions.
No, that's a good point. But maybe they serve another purpose, like self-defense.
Quite possibly. Some
like
sort of
weapons
way of transporting things, maybe.
Oh yeah, good point. You know, we should maybe actually put our money where our mouths are, so to speak, Dan, and see how many bar ends we can fit on a bike and link them all together. Yeah. I bet we could make some pretty exciting stuff.
I'll take your word for it, Si.
Yeah.
Right, moving. Well, that's how many people said. 78% said bodge, unsurprisingly. I'm going with bodge on that as well. Although we don't know what it's used for.
No,
so it could be a hack. This one came in from Jock Watson. Loo roll holder. The only loo roll holder to win the Tour. Mint.
Whoa.
Well, I'm already put off by the fact that one loo roll is facing in one direction and one is in the other. It has to be like it is on the left there. You can't have it on the right facing away from you.
Are those actually Greg LeMond's drop-in handlebars? I mean, because that's what you've inferred, I think.
Yeah, and if that is the case, they might have deserved a better place in their house than the toilet.
Yeah, also, I'd worry about white bar tape in the loo. I'd be tempted to put black on, if I'm honest.
Yeah. So what are you saying?
Well, I don't know. Also, I don't know, is that to like help you get up as well after you've finished?
Well, if it's a full bog roll, then you still struggle to grip onto that, I'd have thought.
No, I mean like the
other side bits, yeah.
Like the drops. I don't know, maybe we're overthinking, but...
I think we might be.
If you've got Greg LeMond's genuine old handlebars, that's a hack from me.
OK, well, I'll go hack as well, as did most of you, 79% on that one.
Brilliant, nice. Right, we're still going. We've got this one from Osh B. In van bike storage. I needed something in the van to hold my bikes when tripping about, and easier than using the car with the roof racks. So, there we go. We've got a pedal holder, which I was kind of thinking, oh, that's not good enough to be transporting around inside a van. But looking at it on there, I'm thinking, well, maybe it is actually.
Looks quite stable to me.
It does look quite stable. I think that's a great idea.
Doesn't look 3D printed, but nevertheless, I'm going to say a hack.
No, yeah, I mean, maybe it's a bit scratchy, you've got to be a bit careful, but yeah, that's a hack from me as well.
Just about a hack from Si.
Yeah.
Well, 86% of you went with hack for that one. It was a week full of hacks, wasn't it, pretty much?
The
occasional bodge. Don't forget to get involved, though. As mentioned before, all you need to do is download the GCN app if you haven't done so already and submit your hacks and bodges there.
It's time now for Caption Competition, that part of the show where you get a chance to get your hands on a coveted GCN Elite water bottle. All you got to do is put a witty caption to a photo I'm about to give you in the comment section down below. As ever, we will start with the results from last week.
Yeah, this was the photo that you got to see. Jolien Dora of Belgium and SD Works celebrating after winning the Grand Prix Oetingen. The winner is Danny Dodd with this. Critics say Jolien has become drunk on her own success.
Yay! I like that.
Well done. That'll be on its way to you as soon as you supply your address via a Facebook message. This week's photo is this one from Milano-San Remo on Saturday, where Mathieu van der Poel was sporting some white shorts. And we're both going to get you started this week. You ready?
Yeah, okay.
Right, go on in.
Do you think he can pull those off?
I'm sure he can, Si, but let's hope he waits until after the race is finished. Sorry.
No, that was great.
Do your best in the comment section down below. We'll pick a winner this time next week.
People are going to be rolling about after that, aren't you? Yeah. Genius. I mean, he can't pull them off, can he? Let's be clear.
Well, they're bibs.
Well, yeah. God. Another one. Another gag. But no, I mean, they look rubbish. Do you think?
Oh, well, no, I think if anyone can pull them off, it's Mathieu van der Poel, surely.
Well, if you're that good, you can pretty much get away with anything. That is true.
Well, if you've managed to pick yourselves off the floor after roaring and rolling around in laughter on there, we'll get on with some comments of the week before we let you know what's coming up on the channel over the next week. Starting with a whole host that came underneath last week's show, which I was absent from, but it seemed to spur a lot of very cool comments.
Yes, indeed. Well, I mean, predictably perhaps, there were more than a few about my attempt at some fairly tricky Dutch pronunciation.
Dijk, Oosthuizen with the Erstheimer Braakmill as a backdrop.
GW Bos says, I'm Dutch and I've no idea what side tried to pronounce during the weekly inspiration. Following that, there was a whole conversation among Dutch people. Basically, someone actually translated it on behalf of everyone, to which Dirk Tolboom said, well, did you read that somewhere? Because I really couldn't understand a word from Si. To which Raad replied, no, I understood his attempt at the phrase Isselmeer. The dike is just a logical deduction. After that, I Googled villages beginning with Oost and found Oosthuizen near the Isselmeer. And then I had to Google which windmills are there. So long story short, Si didn't make it easy.
Doesn't sound like he did. Lots of people doing their homework, though.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, on the pronunciation theme, Chris Voss wrote in and said, Hank said, Jose P. Sebastian for a guy named Josep. Comedy gold.
To be fair to Hank, I didn't know I didn't know Josep was a name.
No, well, I can't really say anything after Seapoo Nerd either, can I? Alex O'Neill, don't try to convince me Si put stuff in the attic. Those arms can't lift things over his head.
Well...
What did you tell me you're up to in press-ups now, though? Started off on 1/2.
No, I started off on I think it was 2.
2 sets of 2.
2 sets of 2. I thought I'd kind of I'd plateau with 2 sets of 10, which isn't bad, like an increase in like 11 days or something. But I think I might have plateaued for the time being.
Oh dear.
So I'm going to just keep pushing on through it. So I did 20 this morning.
That's the idea with them, isn't it?
Exactly.
Anyway, 2 more comments from the GCN show last week. Madison Jones, I live in Vancouver. I've definitely noticed a huge difference in the number of people cycling on the city's roads and trails since the pandemic started. Converting Beach Avenue to a cycling road was such a great move. Makes me so happy to see more and more people on their bikes every single day.
There we go. Another shout out to Vancouver. And then finally from the GCN show, Edward Coupe said, cycling is only as dangerous as you make it. Surrey roads, hold my pothole, which I thought was quite good. Surrey being a region of England, by the way, or county, should I say. But I think a lot of us can perhaps relate to that one.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we released our latest Meet the Presenter with Alex Payton on the weekend, didn't we? A couple of comments from that one. Jason wrote in saying, absolutely loved this. It's cool to hear the stories behind what drove him to compete. Alex seems like a great guy. You can tell that by how he paid tribute to the people who mentored and coached him. Also really enjoyed seeing him on his old route, shall I say. Great job, GCN. Whilst Paddy Wiggle said, I love him even more now.
How cool is that?
Did Alex put these comments in?
Yes, I think that is Alex, isn't it? Paddy Wiggle. But no, I mean, it was well, he's a lovely chap, and it was a great video. So check it out if you haven't seen it. And then underneath Connor's graduation video, where we got to see just how much he had improved. Technically, there's a bit of a spoiler in this video if you haven't already seen it. But anyway, Nikola Tesla said, probably not the Nikola Tesla, it's not always about how fast, how much power, how many watts, how much improvement. Just chill out and enjoy your cycling without trying to smash it off every time. So kind of linked into our lead story.
It is, isn't it?
But, yeah.
Advice for you there, Si, I think. Meanwhile,
well, Yeah, I mean, technically that is probably not straightforward. Isn't it?
Tuna Fish said, kudos to the cameraman who managed to film a stationary bike in a tiny box room from so many different angles.
Yeah.
They did do well, didn't they?
You say it's a tiny box room. Actually, the room's enormous. It's just that Connor, don't forget, is
Fills it.
Is vast. Yeah. So that was, it just put it into context.
Right, let's let you know what's coming up on the channel this week then. On Wednesday, we're going to show you how to do a 50-kilometre ride. Of course, most of you watching this will likely have done one already in the past, but there are so many people getting into the sport now, and 50Ks is a big goal for many people that have just started out. On Thursday, well, it's Tech Show over on GCN Tech, and on GCN Racing, we are going to have our preview of the upcoming Ghent Wevelgem, which is on this Sunday.
Woohoo! Oh, yes.
Sorry, are you going for Friday?
I can do indeed. On Friday, 10 mistakes cyclists make in the rain. So,
Presumably the first mistake is just going out when it's raining, Si, I'd have thought.
well, if you're going to train, Dan, you can't let the weather put you off. Saturday, how does caffeine affect your cycling performance? That's going to be a super, super interesting one. And then on Sunday, we have In Pursuit of Spring, which is our first epic ride of the year. And we had an absolute ball filming that one, so hopefully you'll have fun watching it too.
Right, well, that's almost the end of this week's show. Just before we finish, though, we've already told you what's coming up on GCN Plus regarding films, but we haven't let you know what's coming up in terms of racing. And there's a lot on this week. The Volta Catalunya featuring Peter Sagan, the Yates twins, racing against each other on different teams for the very first time.
Whoa.
Chris Froome, Mark Hirschi making his debut for UAE Team Emirates. That's on all week. Territory restrictions do apply. Not going to name all of the countries, but we'll put a link in the description below so you can see if it's available where you are. We have the Driedags de Panne, men's and women's. That literally means 3 days of Depana, but they're now 1 day each, strangely. They're on Wednesday and Thursday, respectively. It's the E3 Saxo Bank Classic coming up on Friday. Oof. All those three are available in all GCN Plus territories. However, we don't currently, as we record this at least, have Ghent Wevelgem, one of the Flanders Classics, on Sunday. That might change over the next few days, but we can't promise anything. But basically, fingers crossed on that one.
Indeed. I can't wait for E3.
Yeah, Mini Tour of Flanders, that's going to be a cracking race.
That is an absolute belter, isn't it? There we go. Oh, we've had some great racing so far. I mean, this season, I'm sure it's one of the best ever.
Definitely, without a doubt. It's been a fantastic... I wonder if it's down to the races that were cancelled or postponed, because all of the big stars have ended up converging at the same place at the same time, which has been brilliant to see.
Yeah, I think people are racing like there's no tomorrow, because you don't know when the next race is going to get cancelled, do you?
Exactly. Anyway, we're rabbiting on slightly now.
Yes,
again, if you got to the end of the show, you deserve a medal. Let us know in the comments below, but bye for now.